for you, which probably would give you more information about Kedge as a business school, Kedge as an entity, and what are the options and attributes of the school. We would move to the next slide. Okay, so here you can see some beautiful pictures of our 4 campuses in France. You have Bordeaux, where Harish is right now. Bordeaux is also known as wine capital of the world, and Bordeaux is where we have masters in global supply chain. Then we have Marseille, where I went 7 years back. Marseille is the, I would say, shipping capital of Europe. So if you want to study trade and logistics, this is the place you need to go to. If you want to study supply chain, you want to go to Bordeaux. Then we have Paris and Toulon. Paris is a hub for international business, marketing, digital marketing kind of jobs. And Toulon is a hub for business engineering, for people who want to make careers in project management and these kind of programs. We would move to the next slide. And I can show you some pictures from our international campuses as well. Great. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, here you can see the snapshots of our different campuses. So we have one in Abidjan, one in Dakar, one in Suzhou, and one in Shanghai. These are some of our international campuses, mostly for local students. For example, students in China, if they want to study at Kedge Business School in France, they can do that. If they want to study in China, they can also do that. Plus, we have a global executive MBA taught in these campuses. Let's move to the next slide. But today, because we next, please. Today, we will be talking in details about supply chain program. A quick snapshot of all the master's programs that we have. These are some of the master's programs that we have. But of course, we would be investing a lot more time in supply chain. So let's move to the next slide. If you are interested in any other program and you're coming from C and beyond, feel free to reach out to us. Feel free to reach out to Viren and we can do another session for a dedicated program itself. This is the program structure. So every student should be aware of the very fact that if you want to study a master's in India, it would be 2 years. But if you want to study in France, it would give you 2 options. Option number 1, if you have a 4 years degree, you can directly go to M2, which is the second year. And if you have a 3-year degree, you can directly go to M1, which is the first year. Now in semester, and every year would have 2 semesters. So for example, this slide talks about first year. So you have 2 yellow blocks, S1 and S2. S1 is semester 1, S2 is semester 2. And it's very simple. The subjects are already mentioned, what subjects are there, what classes would be there. So these are the subjects usually taught in M1. Now, this is not related directly to supply chain because there is no M1 for supply chain only. M1 is general management, just like first year in India, right? So you'd be studying all the subjects. You'd be studying supply chain in M2, what is Harish studying at the moment. And the tuition fee for first year in France at Kedge is always 8,500 euros, whether you study supply chain or logistics or marketing. So it's really, really affordable. It's like 6 lakhs for year 1. Now let's talk about year 2. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, so in year 2, this is how it looks like. Again, 2 semesters followed by internship. So this is what most of you would be studying if you have 240 credits, or if you have a 4-year undergrad, or if you already have a master's diploma. These are the, this is the basically year which you would be studying at Kedge. Semester 1, 6 courses, 180 hours. Again, this is very basic and detailed information at the same time, but this is only for people who are interested in knowing credits and hours. If I give you a very brief picture, you would study for 2 semesters, 1 and 2, just like Harish. And Harish is starting his internship next month. Then you'd be starting your internship next month. So I'll make it very simple again. Harish flew in September, and this is May. He's starting his internship. So you can very well imagine your career growth as well at Kedge. You'll be flying in September. Around May, you'll be finishing your classes, and then you start your semester. For basic details, how many credits, how many hours, again, it's already there in the slide. You would have access from Viren because Viren already has the presentation. But if you have any questions, you can reach out to us later as well. I see some questions, but I would answer all of them at the end of the session. So don't worry about it. I would answer every question. Yes, let's move to the next slide. Perfect. This is the admission process. Again, you don't need to read everything in details. Just hear me out, and it's very simple. You just need to have your degree. Even if you don't have your degree, your provisional degree would be fine. So basically, if you have a provisional proof that you have graduated, you can apply for a master's. What you need is your resume. Everybody has a resume, right? You would need to answer certain questions called SOP, statement of purpose. Again, this is answered online, so very easy. One letter of recommendation, not mandatory, but recommended. Your manager, your senior, your client can give you a letter of recommendation. Again, not mandatory, but recommended. Now, what is mandatory here is your degree and your mark sheet. Without this, you cannot fly abroad to any country for that matter, because visa is very important. So the most important thing is your degree and your provisional mark sheet. If you have these two, then all of the documents are anyway easy, CV, SOP, LOR, and you can apply directly on the website. Now, you need to remember that once you complete everything, it would ask you for IELTS or TOEFL examination. Please remember, for Indian students, we do not require IELTS or TOEFL. Why? Because Indian students study in English medium. Unless you have studied in a state board, which is not an English medium, then of course you have to take IELTS or TOEFL. But if you're coming from Kerala or Tamil Nadu or Delhi or Mumbai or Bangalore, I think every school teaches an English medium these days. So we don't require IELTS or TOEFL. So don't, I would say, waste your money on IELTS or TOEFL. But if you have it, it's good. If you don't have it, we don't require it. Then there is an application fees of 120 euros, which is mandatory to be paid to complete your application. Whenever you apply to any university, there is an application fee. But for all the students of C and beyond, we have a dedicated discount of 120 euros. So if you're applying from C and beyond, you would not have to pay this application fees and you would get a waiver. You would not get a reimbursement, but a waiver. So do not pay. How to do that? Let's say I'm the student of C and beyond. I'll complete my application. It will ask me to pay the tuition fees. Sorry, application fees. I will take a screenshot of it and simply inform Viren or simply inform Prayag. That's it. And you would get the waiver within 24 hours. You don't have to pay. But if you have already paid, there is no reimbursement. So please do not pay. This is a waiver, not a reimbursement. Let's move to the next slide. Perfect. Yeah, so this is the screenshot you will see. This is what you need to take. That's it. This is the last page. You would see 4 green ticks, and then the 5th one is yellow because it's not paid. So take a screenshot, send it to Viren or send it to me, CC Viren, and you would get the waiver. Perfect. Next slide, please. Perfect. This is about the scholarship. As I already mentioned, Kedge Business School programs are not very expensive. The tuition fee for supply chain is around 19,900 euros, which is around 15-16 lakhs. You get a collateral-free loan coming from 2 of our partners in India, Prodigy Finance and Grad Right as well. You would get 100% assistance without any guarantor or co-signer. So if you don't have a good financial history or you don't have funds, don't worry about it. If you have funds, wonderful. If you don't have that kind of background or you don't have that kind of assistance, don't worry. A lot of our students do get loans very, very easily because, as Harish mentioned, this is world rank 5 program. Despite that, we have 3 scholarships. One is early bird for those people who apply any year before the end of February. For example, if you're applying for next year, you can apply before the last date of February, you would get 10% off. Then you have merit and achievement scholarship, which is for 2,000 and 4,000 euros. For both these scholarships, again, you just need to write an essay. Depending on your profile, we would consider you for scholarship. For example, if somebody has 5 years of shipping background, has worked with NYK Logistics or Maersk, traveled worldwide, speaks very good English, is very confident, has a clear motivation, there is no reason why he or she should not be able to get a scholarship, right? So again, scholarship is not for everyone except early bird, but scholarship is quite common. 80% of our students from India get certain form of scholarship. So do not worry about it. Please just write a beautiful essay why you deserve a scholarship and submit your application. Let's move to the next slide, please. Next one, please. Yes, this is some standard, again, figures for you to have basic understanding. On the left, you would see employability is quite a very, very important metric for us when it comes to Kedge Business School stats for employability. We have 95% of employment rate within 4 months of graduation. So everybody who graduates, and people graduate by December. Harish, I'll give you an example of Harish. In fact, Harish would already talk about himself at length. Harish is a current student. He has already got an internship. He would start his internship next month. Right? But he has not graduated yet. He would be graduating in December or probably January, February next year, because that is when he would be getting his convocation degree. So 95% of people get placed within 4 months of graduation. So after 4 months of graduation, his batch would be placed and the rate would be around 95%. So that's the kind of employment stats you have at Kedge. I think I was talking to some other friends of Harish 2 weeks back. He told me 6 students had got internships a month back, but probably Harish would talk about more in details. Some other Figures are here. We have 120 incubator projects, as I already mentioned. If you want to create your own company in supply chain, go ahead, do that. We have an incubator. We would help you. And we have incubator based in Marseille, Bordeaux, and Paris. So you can create your company and you can get funded as well. 40 partner companies, 650 applications. I would not bore you with this data, but again, this is quite essential data for you, so you can read it on your own. 50 million euros in funding since 2014. That means if you have a good idea, if you have a good team, if you have a good project, you can get funded as well within the campuses. You don't have to go outside the school for funding. We have investors coming in. You can also get funded at our incubators. We move to the next slide, please. Yeah, this is something about awards and recognitions. Again, ranking about Kedge Business School. Globally, these are the rankings which are known for Kedge. Kedge is a triple accredited business school, which means there are 3 accreditations: A, CSB, AMB, and EQUIS. In India, we only have 5 schools which are triple accredited. In France, we have 15. Kedge is one of them. IIM Calcutta in India is triple accredited. IIM Calcutta is partner school of Kedge, and both of them are triple accredited. Kedge is 34th best European business school, 41st best world EMBA. Again, all other details are mentioned here. These are the general management details for supply chain. It's world rank 5 as per Ed Universal. Let's move to the next slide. I'll show you something else. Yes, these are the rankings which were published yesterday by Financial Times. So if you Google Financial Times executive education rankings, these rankings were published yesterday. And as per this ranking by Financial Times, Kedge Business School is 38th best business school for executive education in the world, 1 rank above of IIM Ahmedabad. So you can very well imagine the rankings and the quality and the status of Kedge Business School, not just in Europe, but across the globe. So when you get a Kedge diploma and a degree and you go abroad, you would be a hot property for jobs when it comes to supply chain and logistics programs. Let's move to the next slide, please. Yes, so this is about the supply chain program. I've been talking about supply chain. What is supply chain at Kedge? These are the subjects that you'd be studying in supply chain at Kedge. It's called ISLI program. Again, it's a French acronym, but you don't need to remember that. You just need to remember that this program is called Global Supply Chain Management. In semester 1, you'd be studying these subjects already mentioned on your screen. You can read in details. You would have analytical tools, financial management, supply chain relationship, leadership, research methods, and then global supply chain management fundamentals. If we move to the next slide, I'll show you semester 2. In semester 2, you have these subjects: designing robust network, lean supply chain management, QML, audit, SCOR model, SCM impact, cash management. Then you have managing international global supply chain, legal issues, risk management, decision-making, intercultural management, economics management, change management. These are the subjects you're going to study in semester 1 and semester 2. Let's move to the next slide. Semester 3, as I already mentioned, Harish is about to start his internship. So you would do an international internship. Again, this internship needs to be of 6 months, can be done anywhere across the globe. Harish would talk about where he is going in a while, but you can do it anywhere across the globe. If you want to do it in Kerala, Bangalore, Delhi, you want to come back to India, do it. If you want to do it in France, Marseille, Bordeaux, Paris, you can do it. If you want to do it in the US, you can do it. But again, depends on where you get the internship. It does not depend on your desire. If I want to do an internship in New York, how would I do it? I have to find an internship first. So to find an internship, you would have the Career Support Service Center by Kedge that would help you in finding internships. You would have job fairs at campus. You would have job fairs in city. You would have alumni association networks helping you. You would have networking fairs. You would have companies coming directly to your campus to recruit you. And when we talk to Harish, we will also get to know how he got his internship. So that would be very handy for you. Then you also have to do a thesis at the same time. It's a 4 to 6 months thesis. You can choose a topic related to supply chain management and submit at the time of your viva. That's it. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, key figures, average salary, very important question for Indian students. How much would I earn if I go abroad? If you go to Kedge Business School, France, you would be getting an average salary of 42,800 euros per month, per annum. Could be higher, could be lower, but that's the average annual salary. You would know how Indian schools talk about average CTC, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs. Similarly, it's around 38 lakhs in Indian currency, but I won't calculate that in Indian currency. And in France, you would be earning this much. 100% students work in international position. 80% students join large companies. 95% students are recruited before graduation. 100% find a job within 6 months of graduation. And here's the good part. French government gives you 24 months to find a job. And in supply chain, you find a job within 6 months. Graduates, 3,100 graduates are across the globe for supply chain. Harish would be joining that league very soon. 4,500 supply chain network members, managers across the globe. That's some interesting data about Kedge supply chain. Let's move to the next slide. Yeah, so these are the sectors where students are working. Again, won't take much of your time. This is already available on Kedge supply chain website. Just open Google and write Kedge supply chain, go to career section. You would know these are the sectors where students are working, and these are the positions where students are working. Next slide, please. These are the companies. Usually a lot of students choose these companies. These companies, they do come for recruitment. Sometimes they join the career fairs. Accenture, Airbus, Amazon. A lot of our people there. There was a student, Julian D'Souza. He was studying supply chain 2-3 years back. Right now he's working with Amazon in Luxembourg. In fact, he got his internship. He got his job during the pandemic. So the first week of pandemic, he moved to Luxembourg, started working from home. We would also be talking to Harish where he is going, how he found the job. So these are the companies that come there for recruitment. There would be again other companies as well, but these are the most common, known, well-known, famous brands that come to Kedge. These are the universities which partner with us. So sometimes you would also have exchange semesters, joint programs, certificate programs, some online seminars with these universities as well. And you can also expect students coming from these universities because sometimes we have dual degrees with these universities. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, perfect. So that's all about the presentation of Kedge Business School. I hand it over to Viren, and at the end of this webinar, we will be taking questions.
Thank you so much, Prayag. It was very insightful discussion about the program, and we got all sort of details which we require. I think that will help our friends take the professional decision for their career. So I would like Harish to speak a bit about his journey and how he got into Kedge and how it helped him to land into a job and internship.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thank you, Faryad. Thank you, Viren, for having me here. And so basically, I'm mechanical engineering graduate. I did my graduation back in 2014. Then I worked for 6 years in a company in the FMCG retail sector. And during my work tenure, I decided to do a master's because in my work experience, I learned so many things related to supply chain, but I want to take a depth in knowledge of everything what I have learned, whether it is related to warehousing, inventory, or like logistic. So then I decided for a master back in 2019, but because of COVID, I postponed my admission to 2021. Like I wanted to come in 2020, then COVID happens and I deferred my admit, and I came last year in September here, and today is my last day in class. We just had class with our course director, and it was a wonderful journey. And I got my internship like in 2 months back in Dere Logistic, which is a company, third-party logistic company who handles the warehouse of big luxury companies. I say like Louis Vuitton, Hermes, Sephora. So it's a very good logistic company, like very well known here in France, and it's growing company. So there's a lot more to learn and a lot more opportunities after internship as well. And where I will be working in Orleans, which is 130 kilometers from Paris, and I will be working for Louis Vuitton, like the Dairy Logistic is handling the warehouses and inventory and stock of Louis Vuitton. And so I will be working indirectly with Louis Vuitton, and I will be responsible for the to optimize the flow management. And there are robots who work automatically, like do the picking, packing, and dispatching. So in the warehouse, so I will be working on how to optimize the use of those robots. Probably you all have seen the robots working in the Amazon warehouses, and also those kind of is very high-tech warehouse. And so because we have one industry visit where we visit warehouses and factories during our studies. So we visited that warehouse in March. So I know. So when I visited that warehouse, I was like, everyone was like dreaming that we want to work here. It's very like professional, the technology, and there's so many things to learn also. So I'm one of them. I got selected. I applied directly to the HR, and like my CV got selected. And one of my friend who he don't speak French, but he got his internship in the same company because he has some previous experience working with Amazon back in India. So he will be working for an e-commerce company, so private.com. So that's my journey so far here. And like almost everyone got the internship or full-time jobs till now. Only those who have a specific desire, that like they want to go in a specific field, they are targeting some specific companies, only they are waiting for their internship and jobs. Like otherwise everything is so good. Like, it was a beautiful journey here. And apart from it, I like the culture, weather, and the community here, because if you go to other countries, you will not find so much diverse community. Like in my class we have 16 or 15 to 16 different nationalities, so it's very diverse. I learned so many things with them. Or out of your class you will find so many good friends from different nationalities, and so many things you will learn about French culture, French wine, and French food. Yeah, so that's my experience so far here.
So, Harish, what made you do this program? Like you had good experience working in Africa for 6 years. So, what motivated you to get into supply chain, and why Kedge?
Yeah, so when I was working in Cameroon, so as I said, I did graduation in mechanical engineering, and I was working in a different sector, like in FMCG retail sector, where I was working with the guys in working in the logistic warehouses, supermarket. So I always wanted to do an MBA, but I want to take some experience. Then I wanted to go for MBA. So earlier when I joined that company, I was thinking I will have some experience of few years, then I will go for an MBA. Then by the time I decided to finally go, now is the time to go for a master's. Then I changed my mind, because that time MBA is now like MBA is not specialized. You will learn. I was like that time. I remember only one line, that I was master of all trades, but jack of none. So jack of all trades, master of none. So I want to do master in one field, and I want to like align my experience with my undergraduation. So I did my research, and I found supply chain management is like there are. I read the curriculum of the Kedge and other colleges as well, and I realized that there are some subjects which I have studied in my previous during mechanical engineering, and there are some subjects which I have learned so many, like I come to know about during my experience, like related to warehouse management, inventory management, forecasting, and planning, production, and all. So then I decided to go for masters, and I shortlisted some colleges based on rankings, reviews from the alumni, and I chose case. I chose one university from UK, and I got selected also there. But I chose case just because I can speak French, and case is very well ranked and is very well known in the France. Is reputed one. Like if you ask anyone in France, is very reputed one, like prestige one. Of course, it's not Ivy League, but it's close to Ivy League. So everyone knows the diplomas are very well known, and it's prestige. Companies, they will to hire and someone who is graduated from KS. Like you, for example, back in January, we submitted our CVs. Our course director, she made one CV book of all our classmates, and she submitted it on her drive. And from there, different alumni from previous years or companies or whatever who is in contact with her, they can contact us directly for any opportunity, internship opportunity, job opportunity. So many of my friend classmates, they got I also, my first interview with a company, he was a logistic responsible in a company. He was an ISLI alumni. So ISLI is basically the French anonym of the program in Institute Superior de Logistique Industrielle. So in logistic industrial. So it's just a French conversion of global supply chain management program name.
Okay.
Yeah, I chose case obviously because of its reputation, because of the rankings and fee structure as well, because fees is in budget. And I also got the a scholarship, and the 2,000 euro scholarship plus the academic. I was in a total, I got 4,000 euro scholarship. So that was a win-win situation for me. And if you have some experience, and if you have got some good grades in your undergraduate, you always have a chance to get a scholarship academic. academic scholarship. So when if you are going to apply, and definitely I will suggest definitely apply for the scholarship as well, because two friends of mine, they did not apply because they were thinking that maybe they will not get it. So you will get it or not, this, no, that's not in your, but at least you should apply by writing a good
Yes,
essay, motivation essay. Yeah.
exactly. We should always
Yeah.
try to get the best,
Yeah.
and that will help. So, Harish, we were discussing about French language. So I know that you are having a B1 level of French expertise. So how is it to learn French? How much time did it took you to learn French?
So since I have worked already like almost 6 years there, so
Mm-hmm.
I started to speak in French within a year in Cameroon. Then by the time I tried to sharp my skills, then I came here. By the time I came here, I was like in between B1 to B2, and still now I'm learning, because when you come here, you will get some, because you always get the difficulties in accent. In Cameroon, that they speak French with different accent. In Quebec, they speak with different, and here is very different. So sometimes you have problems, but by the time, like within few months, you can understand and everything, and like it's good. And I always recommend to learn French if you want to look, if you are looking for, and like your goals are related to stay in France for a long time, to do a job in France also, French is always recommended, because there are very less opportunities because even the big companies like Amazon, and even the working environment is English, but still the people inside, they are French. So just to get involved, to learn from them, from their experience, it's better to learn French, because some of my friends, they don't speak French, but they still, they got internship, but they need to learn French. So I think if you keep trying on a regular basis, like if you, it can take a year to, you can start speaking French. Like at least to communicate, you are able to communicate, but it will take at least a year to practice.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
In short, you should have the basic understanding of French before going for this program, so that you can at least interact with the localites and build good relations and networks while you go for industrial visits and all. So,
Yeah.
Harish,
Yeah.
what about the living cost? Like, is it manageable? How much did you spend while you were there in France?
Yeah. So when it comes to living, is that's also an point. I chose France because in France you have social rights. It's called CAF, casse allocation de famille. Whatever amount you will pay, you will get at least 30 to 40% in reimbursement by the end of month. So for example, if your rent is 400 euro, so for like 40% will be reimbursed by the end of year by the government. So in cruise, most of my friends and classmates, almost everyone in the class in college, they students, they stay in cruise, which is again a housing assistance from government of France. So there you will have like affordable rent houses in the range like 250 to 330, 350 in the range. And in private accommodation, I'm living in a private accommodation because like I wanted a separate, like some privacy kind of thing. So I operate for a private one. So I'm living in an apartment where the rent is 460 euros per month. And from 460 euros, I get back 180 euros per month back from the government. So it's very good. And
That's very
also, if
affordable.
one more thing, in Bordeaux, it's everywhere, but I'm not sure about the process of other like states. But in Bordeaux, in the transportation service, if you are a student, you are not earning, so you just declare by like when you start receiving your refund from the government for the housing assistant, then you will have one certificate that you can submit to the transport agency. So you will get your card for free. The card, you are, if you're under 27 of age, you will pay 22 euros per month. That will be free. And after, so you don't have to pay anything for the transport as well. So much support from the government to the students.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
It really helps a lot of people to actually recover the cost and stay at very less price. Great. Thank you so much, Harish, for answering all questions and giving us the detailed information about your journey and how Kedge helped you to reach this internship, and probably you'll end up landing a very good job. So, coming back to the presentation, I would like to tell you that we see and beyond, as you know, we provide multiple assistance when it comes to the application form. So you will get a fee waiver, whatever you're going to be paying. And apart from that, you will get other assistance like loans. Now we don't have any sort of mediators directly. You will get it through the NBFCs and directly from nationalized banks. Then we also help you with foreign remittances. Now, a lot of times what happens is you go to a place in the unknown territory, you don't know what to do, which account and how to transfer. Then you do these forex transfers and you pay a very hefty amount. But we have come up with the NRI accounts where you can transfer money very easily at very less nominal charges. Then we will be assisting you with visa. We will be guiding you from the scratch to end. We'll help you with the accommodation, and also while you're filling up your application, we would also help you with the CV and SOP preparation. So whatever necessary things are there for you to reach till you graduate, we will take care of all the things and guide you in a right manner. And we don't charge anything for that. So you can always rely on us for getting these kind of help. So now we will move to Q&A. So I would request Harish or Prayag to answer these questions. So let's take the first one. Okay, Amir Haq has one question. I've done PGP program. I'm eligible for M2.
Yes,
Prayag, could you just answer this?
So for everyone who, as I already mentioned, who have, so there M2 is possible for different kinds of students. First of all, you need to have a 4-year degree. It's possible, or a degree that offers you 240 course credits. Maybe you won't know what a course credits are, but your university may know. So check with your university. First option is 4 years degree. Second option is 240 credits. Third option is you already have a master's. For example, some people have already mentioned PGP. I saw there's another student, Prateek, who has mentioned MBA. So people who already have a master's, you are also eligible for M2. So anybody who has 4-year degree, 240 credits, or a master's degree is directly eligible for M2.
Prateek has another question. I've done BSc Nautical and MBA in Logistics Supply Chain. Am I eligible for direct? I think that has also already been answered by Prayag. Then Amir has another question. Is job available for people who are non-French speakers after graduation from French?
I think Harish can answer this question better, because Harish is right now at Kedge and he
Yeah.
will a lot of students.
Yeah, definitely. You have so many like job opportunities if you are English fluent in English. So because most of the companies are their area of business is worldwide. They are working with international companies and international clients. So even if in the French speaking companies, they ask for the fluent English. So you like I know there are limited options, but it's not the limit. So you always have an option to find a job internship by your English level. But I recommend don't give up, like keep learning. Even if you get an internship or job with your English speaking skills, just to grow in your career or like to get your goals, you always like keep learning a different language, like Spanish, German, or French is an added advantage to your profile wherever you go, to any country, wherever you go. Even in India, if you go back to India, you have advantage of it. So just like don't give up that I have to start from scratch and I have to put efforts, because if you put by the time you start learning in few months, you will start to love it. Like you will start love the French language. So it's my recommendation. Yes, you have opportunities without French as well, but I recommend to keep learning till you reach the level C2, C1 or C2.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Nishant, you have done 3-year degree. So yes, it will be a 2-year thing for you. And scholarship, we already have discussed Then Shashanth has a question. Marina can directly apply to school for the course based on their experience, shipping experience. No, again, you need to have a 4-year degree. As Prayag said, then you can apply directly.
So
Nishant has another
Nishan Jain
question.
have one question. Yes, he's asking difference between MBA in supply chain and MSc in supply chain. So again, in MBA you will learn like I don't know because we don't have MBA in supply chain in Kedge. So I can tell you about the MSc in supply chain. One of my friend, like he's graduated of 2020 year 2021. He's working in CMA CGM in Marseille. So he's with the same background as yours. He did his graduation in nautical science, and currently he's working in Marseille with CMA CGM. His name is Utkarsh Chadda. So you can connect with him on LinkedIn, and he will definitely guide you about his experience because his background is same like most of the people here. So I recommend him to you all of you to connect with him. His name is Utkarsh Chadda. I will like if you want, I will provide his LinkedIn address as well.
Yeah, I'd like to add something here regarding the difference between MBA in supply chain and MSc in supply chain. First of all, in France, MBA is not a common program. The most common program is master's. And in fact, master's special is which is technically the MSc, is a specialization degree in France. Now, the thing is, a lot of Indian students relate MBA as a program, which is probably the business program, not specializations. The reason being, in India, we don't have specializations. We only have MBA. So if you look at IIM Ahmedabad or Bangalore or Calcutta or Kozhikode or Chennai or whatever business school you're going to, you would have MBA and then you have electives and then you would have a major and a minor. But you don't have specializations. But in France, you have a lot of specialization. At Kedge alone, you have 36 specializations. So you can go for a master's, which is equivalent to an MBA. How? For example, I'll like to add something here as well. Regarding the recognition, 2018, French government and Indian government, and this was first of its kind, signed an MOU that each of its degrees are recognized in each other country and vice versa. So your MBA in India is recognized to a master's in France, and your master's in France is recognized as an MBA in India. So even if you're coming back with an MSc degree and you're applying for an MBA job in India, it would be accepted. It is globally recognized. Now it only comes to the nomenclature. Some universities called MA in international business, some called MSc in international business, some call it MBA in international business. There is no difference at all. I'll also give you one more example. If you look at the Financial Times top 100 MIM rankings, you would see Indian MBAs, 3 MBAs, IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and Calcutta. Knowing the fact that Indian B schools do not offer MIM. Why? Because MIM is equivalent to MBA in India. So Indian MBA,
yeah,
so
exactly.
if you look at for Indian MBA, and let's say there are 2 students and one is studying an MBA in India and somebody is going to Kedge MIM, the Indian guy would be like, okay, I'm going for MBA, you are going for MIM. It's not the same thing. It is the same thing. You should look at the rankings. You should look at the recognition. You should look at the MOU signed between the government. So just to answer your question in one line, MSc in supply chain, MBA in supply chain, it's the same thing. What matters is the course content. If your course is different, taught at Erasmus or taught at other schools or taught in India or taught at Kedge, that is the only thing that matters. Nomenclature does not matter because a master's degree would give you 100+ credits. A master's degree from Kedge would be recognized all across the globe. So there is no difference at all. I think we have next question is regarding the work visa from Nishant. And work visa again varies from case to case. But the thing is, if you have, so the good thing is, if you want to study in France, government of France offers you 2 years of stay back visa. Now, this is a common fact. I want to tell all of you that a lot of Indians think that if I go to France, I would get a 2-year stay back visa very easily. Not true. Let me tell you very honestly, because this is only for programs which are recognized by French government. And Kedge supply chain is recognized by French government. So let's say there is a school XYZ and that says, oh, you will come to France, you would get 2 years stay back visa. No, your program needs to be recognized by government of France. It should be CGE accredited. You don't need to remember an acronym. You just need to remember one thing, that if you're going to Kedge for any program, including supply chain, you would be able to find a job 2 years stay back visa. And then the work permit again depends on company. For example, Harish is joining an internship. Now, when he joins his job, it depends on his company. If company is giving a 5 years contract, he would get a 4 years work permit or a 5 years work permit. But if his job is 1 year contractual job, then he would get a 1 year visa, which would be renewable. But the minimum is 2 years for everyone. Next question is from Soma. Can we apply this fall if you have not started the application process? So this is a very good question for application dates, and I would share it with everyone. So at Kedge, we have 3 major intakes: Jan, June, and September. Even Harish might be surprised because when Harish went, only September was there. Now we also have Jan and June. So COVID changed a lot of things worldwide, including at Kedge. But the good thing, or probably not so good thing, is that for supply chain, there is only one, in fact, 2 intakes, but the one major intake is September every year. So, and September is called the fall intake across the globe. So if you want to apply to Harvard University, there would be a fall intake. If you apply to Kedge Business School, there would be a fall intake. Fall intake is the most common. So right now the applications are open for September 2022. This year, applications would be open till July 15. Right now it's May 25. So you have 50 days to apply, almost 2 months to apply. And once you get admission, which takes 3 to 4 weeks, you would get your visa on time, because visa, I think, takes 1 to 2 weeks. Probably Harish can add in here. Harish was based very close to New Delhi. So Harish, if you could share your visa experience here, because a lot of students would be worried how long it is going to take for visa. Harish, you're on mute.
Yeah, the visa pass was amazing. I got my visa in 3 days, within 3 days. By the end of 4 days, I had like passport in my hand with the visa stamped on it. So it's very fast. If you compare it with other countries, it's really super fast.
Perfect.
So
Thank you so much.
if your file is good, all the documents are like in line, then you don't have any difficulty in getting visa. So
perfect. Thank you so much, Harish. And I'm sure C and Beyond team is very, very capable of helping you with your visa application process. So please go ahead and do that. So if you want to apply for September intake, applications are open right now. You can apply and you can get visa on time. If you want to apply for next year, applications would be opening this September, because there would be many people who would be like, okay, I want to take some time. I would like to apply next year. You can, but you would be able to start your application September onwards. But for this September, you can apply right now.
So Prayag, sorry to interrupt. Can you elaborate more on what visa students gonna get?
It's a student visa.
Yeah. Is it Schengen visa for 2 years?
Yeah, so all the visas that students get for France would be Schengen visas, whether it's a student visa or a tourism visa or a work visa or a business visa. All the visas in Schengen zone are in itself Schengen visas. So students would be getting, because these, so for example, it's very simple. Students are going for 1 year program, they would be getting a 1 year visa. And then they can renew it in France for the remaining period, because they would have their internships as well. I'm sure, Harish, you would have renewed, or you would be supposed to renew. So could you talk about your renewal as well, please?
Yeah, so the visa you will be getting is VLSTS. It's VLS visa long stay visa. It's short. Because if you have any program which is less than 3 months, then you will get short stay visa. So if you are going for a master, whether it is M1 or M2, you will get VLSTS visa, long stay visa. So that visa will be of validity of 1 year on your passport. So when you come here in France, and so within 3 months, when you, like if you arrive today in France, so within next 3 months, you validate your passport visa in a paper document that is completely online. You pay 50,000 stamp and 50 euro stamp, and it's done. Then when it's going to expire last 3 months, before 3 months, you apply for the Titre Séjour, your like resident permit. So you apply for it using your documents like resident house, whether you have your like internship or job in your hand or not, you are eligible to apply. Then you renew it. It's also process is online, and like there's no rocket science in it.
So Prateek has another question. So he has done his MBA in logistics and supply chain. He can probably apply for M2. Yes, Prateek, you can.
Yeah, I think there's a question by Make D, and the question is, how long this will be given for extendable for this master's program? As in Germany, they provide 4 years to complete a 2-year master's, as students do internships, training in between the studies. Okay, makes it, the thing is, as I already mentioned regarding the visa, you'd be getting a 1-year student visa because your program is for 1 year. If your program is for 2 years, you can renew for second year. If your program is for 4 years, you can renew for 4 years. That's not a problem. Now, once you are there, regarding the gap you're talking about, gap, for example, as you mentioned, Germany offers up to 4 years to complete 2 years program. That means 2 years of gap. That is possible in France as well, but only for MIM program, which is a 2-year program. How can there be a gap for 1-year program? I mean, if you're going only for a 1-year program, there would not be a gap of 6 months plus again a gap and then 6 months. So 1-year program has to be completed in 1 year. But if you're going for MIM, let's say Masters in Management, which is equivalent to an MBA, you're not going for supply chain, you're not going for logistics, you're going for MIM. In that, you can take a gap year. And how long? It's a 1-year gap. For example, you can go in 2022. In 2023, you can take a gap, do internships, obviously not travel and have fun, just do internships. And 2024, you can come back to school to do your second year of masters, but only in MIM, not in MSc supply chain, or not in any MSc for that matter.
So Jigar is asking whether they can do a part-time work on the student visa.
Yeah, so there are two things related to this, whether they can do and if finding part-time is easy or not. So regarding the second question, he hasn't asked the second question I'm adding here because I'm sure he would be having this query in his mind, and a lot of students would be having this query if it is easy to find or not. I would let that question be answered by Harish, but I can talk about the first question. Is it allowed? Yes, it is allowed. How long is allowed? French government, regarding the VLSTS visa, Harish spoke about the long stay visa. French government allows you to work 20 hours part-time per week. You can work as a babysitter, you can work in a restaurant, you can work at a subway station, you can work part-time 20 hours per week if you have time. Now, I would ask Harish to talk more about, is it easy? Is it tough? Do you know some students who are doing part-time there?
Okay, so when it comes to part-time jobs, in my class, I know some friends, they are doing part-time just to like enhance their French skills, just to get to know about like daily communication lines or sentences in French. So one of my friend is working in a Indian restaurant, one of friend is working in an Arabic restaurant, and like few of my friends are there working in supermarkets. So they are working not to earn or not to finance their studies. They are working just to learn French or to get to know about like day-to-day life activities of French people or so. So because this is, especially for my program, M2 program is fast paced, like you have classes all day long, like from morning 8 to 3:30 in the evening. Sometimes you have assignments, projects to work on. So it will be hectic if you go for a part-time. If you are planning, like if you are doing it to earn money, then I won't recommend it. If you want to do it for learning purpose to learn French, then you can definitely manage it. Like, so that's my experience with it. Because I had opportunity to work in like some good part-time like work related to my field as well, but I don't wanted to affect my studies because of part-time, because it's only 8 months program. So like I never did part-time jobs during my studies. Only 2 or 3 friends in my class, they did part-time jobs, and they also did for the learning purpose.
So is it recommended, like, can you manage your work alongside your studies?
Yeah, so you can, it depends where you find your job. So if you are working with the restaurants, so most of them, they were part-time job is in night. So every day your studies are like finished by 3:30, so you have opportunity like to start your part-time job by 6 or 7 in the evening, and you can finish it 11 or 12 in the night. So that it's good until it doesn't affect your studies. So you can manage, like many people do it from Africa and from Indian students, they do it. So it's manageable.
Yeah, Nishant is asking immigration possibilities after studying in France. Yes, you have Shenzhen visa, which is valid for 2 years. If you can elaborate more on that question, Nishant, that will be great.
I think he's asking like settling in France or from PR perspective.
Maybe, yes. If you could answer that as well, Harish, that would be great.
And analyzing that part.
Yeah, so I think regarding the immigration possibilities related to PR, it's very simple. Nishant, the first thing that you need to do is learn French, because if you want to get a nationality of a certain country, you need to speak their language. You need to know about their culture, number one. Number two, number three, you need to be, so if you're going as a student, it becomes easy. Why? Because your education period is also counted towards the nationality, the naturalization process. So let's say if you're going for 1 year program like Harish, you would have to live there for 4 more years. So in total, 5 years, and then you can apply for PR. Similarly, if you're going for 2 years program, like if you're going for M1 and then you complete M2, you would have to live there for 3 more years, and then you can apply for PR. So that's the second step. If you have completed these two, you can apply for PR in 5 years. And there would be a naturalization test, a written test, viva, blah, blah, blah. And then you would be able to get it very easily. I know a lot of students who have got it very easily. They went to France in 2013 and 14, and now they have French citizenship. The second way is you get a salary of 54,000 euros. If you get a salary of 54,000 euros, you are technically eligible for something called blue card. I'm sure a lot of you would have heard about US green card. It's very similar in concept, and it's called European blue card, EU blue card, which is a 10 years long-term residency for you, your spouse, and your kids. So let's say if you go to Kedge next year and you graduate in 2023, and then your salary is 54,000 euros, you don't have to apply for 1 year or 2 year work permit. You apply for 10 years. And then once you complete 3 years, you don't have to do renewal every time. And then you directly go and apply for PR. So there are two ways to do so. But in both the cases, you need to learn French, because if you want to become an American citizen, you can't become an American citizen without speaking English. Similarly, in France as well. That's it. People are asking any age limit for this program. There is no age limit. We have had students with 15 years of work experience as well. We have had students in past with no experience at all. Harish has around 5 to 6 years of work experience. I think that's the average work experience of supply chain, 4 to 6 years. But there is no age limit unless you are 70. I don't know. We have to check. But anybody who's around 35, 40, 45 should not be a problem.
Prayag, I have one question. So if anyone wants to travel to any Schengen countries, so can they do that if they get an opportunity, and what will be the validity of their PR, and how can they apply for that?
Okay, so regarding travel, yes, you can, even on your student visa, because as I mentioned, all the visas are Schengen visas. So I'm sure Harish is already traveling. Harish is obviously traveling to different countries and Western and Southern Europe. You can check with him. But regarding the other possibilities, so the good thing is, once you have your Schengen visa, first of all, what you can do with Schengen tourist visa, student visa, even the work permit, you cannot settle in another country, but you can travel. So let's say if you want to travel to Switzerland tomorrow, you can travel. There is no visa required. Just keep your passport and travel. Number one. Number two, if you want to take an interview, let's say Harish has an interview in Italy tomorrow. He can go catch a bus, take an interview, and come back the same day. There is no further visa required. But he cannot work there because he needs a work permit. You cannot settle there because you need a residence permit. But you can do all other things like traveling, tourism, doing interviews, and doing business meetings as well. So that's the good thing. I forgot to add one thing here for people who want to come back to India. What about them? Because right now we've been talking about people who want to settle in France or work in France or Europe, right? But there must be some people who want to come back to India for their families or their business or whatever it is. If you want to come back to India and you have a Kedge master's degree, you would be able to get a 5 years business visa. Now, what is a business visa? A business visa allows you to travel, allows you to do interviews, do business meetings as well, allows you to be in any European country, which is Schengen, for 90 days. And then there has to be a gap of 90 days. Okay. For example, let me explain. Let's say I am a student of Kedge. I came back to India. I have already graduated. I have got 5 years of business visa. Now, if I want to go to Italy tomorrow, just for tourism, for 3 months, I can go. There is no problem. But after 3 months, I have to come back. 90 days. I cannot be there for 91 days. I come back. Then there is a cooling period of 90 days. For those 90 days, I cannot travel. But after those 90 days, again, I can travel. And this hop on, hop off for 90 days each can go on for 5 years. So this is a good advantage for students who are working. And why this is important? Because a lot of people work in German companies in India, Italian companies in India, French companies in India. And sometimes they need a business visa to travel in Europe. And their companies have to sponsor the visa, and it's a headache. It's money money is required, time taking process it is. So that's why if you have a business visa, you can mention on your CV. Even when you are applying for jobs in Kerala, Bangalore, Mumbai, you can mention in your CV, I have a 5 years European business visa, which is a Schengen visa. Companies would be very happy to recruit you. So that's all about students who are coming back to India. I think we have one question from Make. He says, is 3 years or less of work experience affect the chances of getting into masters? Make, as I already mentioned, it does not really impact any of your chances. We have had students with 15 years of experience. We have had students with no experience at all, right? In fact, we have had students with no relevant experience as well. I can talk about a student. His name is Deepak, very close friend of Harish. He was in his class. He is in his class, and he does not have a supply chain background, right? He has a sales background, but he's studying supply chain and he's doing good. So background does not matter. What matters the most here is obviously your motivation, your clear goals, and your performance in the interview. That's it. Last question from Sushant. He says, if GMAT or GRE is required, as I already showed in the application process, GMAT or GRE is not required. But if you have it, it's good for you because it would help you in scholarship.
So, Prayat, can they take their families along with them? What are the possibilities?
They can take the families along with them, but they would go on dependent visa. They would not get the work permit until you get the work permit. For example, if I am married, I can take my wife today, but she would not be able to work. Or if my wife is going as a student, I would not be able to work. We are dependents, but we would be able to work as soon as the candidate gets the job.
Okay. And what about the kids? Can they study?
Yeah, of course. Yes, absolutely. They can do anything. Okay, you can take your kids, you can enroll them in a school, because see, Harish was talking about a 50 euro stamp that makes you a resident there. Yes. Without that stamp, you're a student for sure. But with that stamp, you become a resident of France. Technically, you are paying taxes as well. When you're going to cinema, when you're shopping something, you're also paying taxes, right? Yes. And that's why it is counted in your 5 years period for citizenship as well. So once you become resident, you can do anything except voting and some other restrictions. You can do anything.
Sarfaraz, I have a question. Do they accept equivalent degree? I believe it's yes.
I'm not sure what he is asking about with equivalent degree. Yeah.
So ideally, a lot of mariners who come with their master's FG or the captains of the ship, they don't have the bachelor's degree. Instead, they have the master's COC. So WES ideally provides the equivalency certificate.
That works. We have had students with that undergrad as well. So that is not a problem.
Okay, Mac, we will share the recording. No problem. Any other questions?
I don't think we have any questions. Probably we can wrap up this session, but with some suggestions coming from Harish. Maybe we have one question. We will answer this question quickly, and then we can take some suggestions from Harish. Final words.
Sure.
Right. So the question is regarding internship. Mentioned that Kedge Business School will help us, but in their specific guarantee terms for the mean if I don't go. Okay, first of all, yeah. So student is asking about guarantee. So there is no guarantee. I mean, if IIM Ahmedabad says the average CTC is 25 lakhs, there is no guarantee that it will be 25 lakhs. During the recession, I'm sure it was not 25 lakhs. Right. So there is no guarantee. Again, you go there and you're not just going there for a job. If you're only going for a job, don't go to a B school, right? Go to any immigration consultant in India and ask for a Canadian PR and go with a PR, right? But you're going there for education. You're going there for skills. You're going there for network, right? Harish already worked abroad, gained a lot of confidence, gained a lot of skills, network. And then, of course, once you have a degree, you get an advantage of getting a job locally. Because if there are 10 students with a PR in France against Harish, who has a degree from Kedge Business School, Harish would always be the hot property for companies to be offered jobs, not the people who have PR, because people with PR do not have a French degree, do not speak French, do not have the same networking skills. So there is no guarantee, but of course, 95% people, as already mentioned, They find jobs within 4 months of graduation, and that's true. If you're asking the numbers are true or not, that's true. But how you can check? You can connect with students on LinkedIn. You can connect with Harish. You can connect with other students, and then that's how you can check. There's
Sahil
another
has a
question.
question.
Yeah.
So he was asking about other than supply chain. Yes, they have. We have international trade and logistics. Yes.
There's another
We'll
question.
share
What
the
is the
details
practicality of the course in terms of jobs? Practicality of the course in terms of jobs.
Yeah, so I got his question. Yeah, so he wants to ask what we are going to learn in the course. It will definitely help us, because what you are going to learn is industry point of view. You are not going to learn in textbook knowledge or theory or something like we learn in India in like during our graduation. So whatever you learn, it will help you in your like in your job or in your internship. And you don't have a textbooks, and like that is like you stay attentive in class, you listen what professor taught you, and you have PPTs, and that's the study material you have, and that's really helpful. And you most of the time you have case studies and business games, and so that's the way you will learn more. I think I answered his question, or because
Yes.
the course is planned according to the industry point of view. So you whatever you are going to learn during the course, you will implement in during your internship. The internship, the purpose of internship is that what you learn during your course, you like you put in practical during your work experience. So purpose of internship, mandatory internship of this program.
Okay, Nishant has a question: difference between learning for Erasmus and Kedge. As you know, you've seen that Kedge has ranked number 5 in the world. Erasmus, I don't think so, is right there. So for supply chain, yes, you can go for Kedge, which is better than Erasmus. If you want to add anything, Prayag.
Yeah, I'd like to add something else. So first of all, RSM is based in Netherlands. So I mean, again, it's very simple. If you want to work in India, you would want to study in India. So if you want to work in Netherlands, RSM is a better choice, hands down. You don't study in Kedge to work in Netherlands. Of course, you can get jobs in Netherlands, but that's not the flagship product. So if you want to work in France or want to work in Western Europe, then Kedge Business School is definitely way better. Number one. Number two, rankings. Kedge is 5th worldwide, RSM is not. Number 3, credits. Kedge offers you around 100 credits. RSM only offers you 60. So when you're going for a PhD, that would not help from RSM. Number 4, Kedge is more affordable. It's 19,000 euros. I think RSM is more about 21,000 euros. So 2,000 euros more expensive, and around 50 credits lesser compared to Kedge. And 5th, the alumni network. Once you go anywhere across the globe, you won't find an alumni network like Kedge. You have marinas in France, in Europe, in US, in India, all across the globe. In fact, Harish already mentioned when he was working in Africa, he got know somebody who was already a Kedge alum or probably knew about Kedge. So that's the kind of alumni network that Kedge provides.
Prateek has a question: duration of M2. Yeah, Prayag, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so duration of, as already mentioned, every year has 2 semesters. Do not be confused whether it's M1 or M2, 2 semesters, then internship. First, second internship. Similarly for Harish, he went in September, and right now it's May. He has already completed 2 semesters and then internship. So 2 plus 1. So 2 semesters and internship.
Okay, I think that's it. I don't see any questions. Thank you so much, Prayag. Thanks, Harish. It was really nice to have you and spend your time with us. It's really valuable for us to make a professional decision for our marinas and non-marinas. So thank you so much. You can connect with us, as my colleague Pratish might have shared an email ID with you for more queries, and you can connect to Harish and Prayag both on LinkedIn. We'll share you the links. So thank you. I'm wrapping up the session. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Harish.